Okay, here we are. I'm gonna turn this- Okay, great. I can see myself. So I'm going to go back to StreamYard and we're just going to carry on. So it's great to have you guys here. And I'm super excited because there's so much going on right now. And there was a few girls. So first of all, I'm talking about the Elev8 community. And inside Elev8, which is our new home, is at Elev8, spelled ELEV, the number 8, TE, and then ME as in me.com. So elevateme.com. I'll put it in the chat, or I'll put it in the notes. This is our new home. And so I'm very excited about this because we are building a really tight-knit, high-vibe community of beautiful, rising women. And together we are forming I will call it the initial core group who is going to be playing with me inside this wonderful new space, this container that is being cultivated right now. And I have messaged many of you and really just expressed that I've been looking for a core group of about 50 or 60 women that we can start to create this space with. And so if you are already in the community, you know who you are. And if you haven't received a personal invitation, but have been working with me or know me and suspect that you would be a really great fit, please do reach out because we are about halfway to our goal right now. And we're going to be playing together during this experimental space. Oh, there's Lisa again. Hey, sister. And it's going to be a really amazing time. So we are basically priming the energy for this new container that is going to be for a much larger group of women. But I'm being very particular and curating the space with energy that vibes, essentially. So we can prime the space and really create a unique container to support us and everyone else is going to come into the space. So with that said, it's at Elev8 with an 8 me.com and we will see you there. Okay, if not now, then in the near future. But I want to share and talk about and find out what you guys are going through with regards to the energy, because I woke up today going, wow, what the heck is going on? And I know inside Elev8 there was some of our sisters posted and someone, I think it was Heather, who said, just curious, is there something going on? Are we experiencing an energy surge? And the answer to the energy surge is technically no, it's not a surge per se, but it is because of cosmic alignments and a lot of numerology that's at play right now. And so we are definitely experiencing something that's making us feel wonky, that is stirring things up. Let's say that. I've been using the word confronting all day today because it's definitely kind of feeling like that. Are you guys feeling that? Like, how would you describe the energy? Yeah, thank you, Tammy. I can see the comments. Yes. All right. Thank you. I feel like such a newbie. I am such a newbie. Okay, thank you, sister. I appreciate the comment. So, like, please let me know. What have you guys been noticing? Oh, we are. Let me see. Oh, you're commenting in the private chat. All right. I don't know how to make it public. Show? Live viewer comments show up on StreamYard. This is an example. Click on a comment shown on screen. Oh, I see. Okay, so I'm going to show it. Oh, this is very fancy. You can choose what you show. All right. This also seems kind of labor intense. All right. Well, Tammy, welcome. All right. I don't know what we're doing here. To their YouTube. People have to sync here to their YouTube. Oh, wow. I have so much to learn. My goodness. But either way, thank you. All right. So you're commenting in the private chat. I'll have all this worked out shortly. I just wanted to kind of jump in and throw myself right in as this first particular stream. But anyways, guys, the energy is intense. So what have you noticed? Has anybody been noticed anything energetically wise? I know Tammy, you and Heather were kind of chatting together in the community. Yeah, it's so intense. Yeah, it is. Let me see here. Let me see what I can show you. In fact, I'm going to just move this in a little bit so I can read my own notes. I made some notes because there's just a lot of things I wanted to cover and also some things I wanted to ask you. Hey, Lisa, there you are. Beautiful sister. Thank you. I'm glad that you're here. Lisa's finding this funny. On a collective, definitely feeling a surge. Yeah, I think that's a good way to describe it. I mean, technically, I use the language of it's a surge or it's a boost when it's coming from, when it's more like, solar radiation that's really a blast, or there's more of that, or it's something like a boost in Schumann's resonance. But this isn't so much of that we're feeling. This is much more, it's a shift or it's an amplification of cosmic energy. And so what that's about is like the alignments, what's taking place, what's lining up in terms of the different planetary bodies that is making us feel this way. And it's playing out in everybody's life very uniquely. It's not an excuse or saying, oh, we're at the mercy of it, but it's definitely an influence that we're feeling. So let's see what I can tell you. So besides that, there is also, let me see, what are you doing? Let me see. Oh, as far as dealing with all of this. Well, what I'm doing is being conscious, like being aware and noticing what it is that I'm feeling. Because what's going to happen is when this energy is present, it's kind of like a tool that the souls use to create orchestrations for us to be put in situations where this energy, which naturally feels like tension, can trigger us into experiencing different things. Okay, so I'll give you an example. So today I was popping into a group chat that I haven't been in a while, and lots of amazing people that I love dearly are in there. And I haven't been in there in a while. And I saw a chat, a comment come in, and it immediately made me think of a topic that is about AI. And it was immediately made me think of a topic that um, it's very controversial. I don't want to get into it here because it's just, we don't have the space for that on 30 minutes. But let's just say that what it made me think of was an aspect of AI that is rather controversial and that I've been thinking about and want to talk about. I'll probably do a live on it some point soon. And so a dear sister of mine had made a post and shared something about it. And then I popped in and responded with something I think it started with like, oh, I have a less popular opinion about this, and blah, 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 went on to talk about something. And it was interesting when I finished that message, even though I was, I guess, coming from a place of like playful curiosity and like just playfulness, like, well, I have a slightly different opinion and I can see where you're coming from. My ego was activated like, oh, I wonder if I was confronting, like, I wonder if I said that in a way that may have triggered my sister as I messaged that. And you know how it is with messages, right? Like you just never know with text how it's going to be received, but it's always divine. That we know. And so that was an orchestration for me so that I would have the feeling of like a little bit of like stickiness around questioning myself if I had made the right choice in words to deliver my message. So that was my experience of how this energy was creating this intensification and just tension. So how I deal with it is to immediately become aware. Like, oh, okay, that's interesting. That made me feel this way, which I'll be honest, normally probably wouldn't. But given the day, given the topic, given all these things, it kind of brought up a little bit, and not much, but enough that I noticed. And that's all it takes. So if you notice something, that something's made you feel uncomfortable, then that's when you stop, have the awareness. What was it? What was it that took place, first of all? Second, how did it make me feel? Because that answer to how did it make me feel is going to be the answer you're looking for. Well, it made me feel insecure, or, well, it made me feel like I was judged. Whatever that is your key, the clue that will lead you back into the programming that is running in the subconscious that essentially is ready or will soon be ready to be cleared or deactivated. And that this energy is designed to amplify and bring up in you. And the souls will play with this through orchestration so that we have different experiences to bring stuff up. Does that make sense? Does that make sense, guys? Lisa says, yes, I've been going through, let me see if okay, I've been going through that lately. Actually, lots of worry around offending people. Yeah, right? It's a real thing. And the reality is, at a soul level, it's not a thing at all. Right? We have nothing to fear. It's just really about having these orchestrations to play with. Oh, I see how this works now. Okay, so, okay. All right, I see this. Okay, let me see what else we can share here. Worrying about offending people. Yeah, right. It's about that fears and worries about judgment, right? Which is another core belief that's just BELIE, lie, that the ego is just trying to convince us, oh, be careful what you say. I was on a beautiful private session with a sister today, and it was all around those various different things, but this topic came up too. So it's like it's a real collective theme that's going around. Lisa says, I wonder if this is happening a lot lately with a lot of us. It totally is. It totally is. I would not be surprised if you were to put your ear to the ground, or if you could, you would hear from many people. It's this concern of what will others think? How will I be judged? It's such a core underlying theme of programming that we're here to transmute. And the way we transmute it is to allow it to come up, have experiences that will amplify it, and then process it in a variety of ways. And if you're in the Elev8te community, we're going to be doing a lot of that in different ways. So yeah, and you actually already have tools in there, like even going into the Trinity recode is something you can always use if you want to play with something. It can immediately alchemize and clear for you. So that's a tool you have. Tammy says, I have had some experiences with this. Yes. Amazing. Okay, glad this stuff makes sense. Good, that popped up huge. Incredible. Okay, so let me just tell you a little bit more about this, just so we have a bit more context. And where are we going for time? All right, so time is moving quickly, but we'll move through this. So basically what's happening right now is we have what's causing the energy to feel so intense, or the tension, is what's called a square. And a square, I'm not an astrologist, obviously, but I follow astrology and numerology. So I can kind of explain what is taking place and how it's relating to what you're experiencing feelings-wise. So a square is causing, like, if you imagine what a square is, right? It's a container, it's a box. Well, imagine that the box is too small. So if a box is too small, but if you feel like you're caged, you're trapped in it, you're being pressed into it. And so squares kind of create that dynamic energetically in the environment and then within us. And so there is a square that is taking place today, and there's another square that is taking place tomorrow. So two squares back to back like this means one day of tension and then another day of tension. And they're involving different planets, which means we're going to feel it in different ways. So the one we're experiencing today, which happens to be on June 11th, and then bringing astrology into that, numerology, 11 is intensifying all on its own, right? Because 11 is what? It's two ones. And what are those? It's like a gateway, right? It's like a pathway, a gateway, a straight line, like going down this path. And so it is further creating this energy of like bringing things in, tightening things up, forcing them to go down straight lines, which is another form of tension. So it's being amplified that way. But this particular square today is between Mars and Pluto. So Mars is about action. It's about conflict. It's also about sex drive. It's about getting things done, making things happen, going after the things that you desire. And then it's taking place in Taurus. That's the sign. Now, again, I'm not an astrologist, but I'll give you my interpretation and what I'm receiving through this. And then in Taurus, Taurus is about the body. So if you're thinking about action, the body, stay with me. This is all going to make sense. So it's between Mars and Pluto. Pluto is about leadership. It's about taking control of your life. How many people right now want to take control of their life? Would you say that that's kind of like coming up for you? Yeah, big time, right? This whole era is really around that. And Pluto is right now in the sign of Aquarius. Aquarius is the higher mind. And so Aquarius, higher mind, taking control of your life, right? Higher thinking, making decisions, making choices. This is all kind of making sense. So these two together are creating this incredible dynamic that's intensifying tension, that's intensifying the energies of these two planets, right? Basically, the idea of action, assertiveness, getting things done, and then the higher mind, making higher decisions, etc. It's quite wild. And so it's forcing us to walk through this gateway towards what we really want. So if you are trying to move towards your purpose, you want to do this thing, realize your dream, it's forcing us to walk through a tense kind of gateway towards it, even if it feels uncomfortable. Or if we're not walking through, we're not moving towards it, and it is, your purpose, what you're here to do, how you're here to play, it's going to feel even more uncomfortable if you try to avoid it. Does that make sense? Let's see. Lisa says, definitely makes sense. I'm struggling with not saying, oh yeah, it's planetary. Yeah, right? Like I caution to bring astrology in, but at the same time, I cannot avoid it because it has such an influence. And yet everybody's experience is going to be unique. And it is not like, oh, it's just the planets. I just, there's nothing I can do. No. And I'll tell you something. That is one of the reasons that when I first learned about astrology and started following astrology way back in my late teens, early 20s, I actually gave up the whole game of astrology. I was like, this is insane. I'm not buying into this crap. And the reason was that the way it was being portrayed to me was like, well, this is going to be your tendency because you have these planets or these whatever in your makeup. And I, being an Aquarian myself, I'm like, the heck with that. I'm not going to let something dictate whether or not I can rise to the level that I want to be at. Like it just felt very disempowering to me, which makes sense. So if you've ever kind of felt a resistance to that, that's why, because if you limit your receiving or interpretation of this information as that, like, oh, it's just the stars, it's just the signs, you have nothing. No, what they're doing is they are calling us up and basically spelling out what you could say your present limitations are, which in my language would illuminate the programming and the blueprinting that you came in with, but not to stay and play with, but that you came to evolve through, that you came to reach your highest potential through. So they're like identifying themes, but by no means are we stuck there. So when I came into that, really, I chose that understanding. And then I was like, okay, I can work with this because it is relevant, right? Because we do notice these things. So anyways, I hope that makes sense. Yeah, Lisa says, I agree. Yeah, people tend to roll their eyes. Yeah, I get it. And I mean, part of that is also not wanting to maybe buy into it, but there's a lot happening there. So anyways, going back to what's taking place, there's a lot of this energy, this tension energy in the air today, tomorrow as well. And it's really forcing us to face things, whether that's experientially, whether that is emotionally, whether that is taking action on things. And it's about taking action on things that maybe we don't prefer, but we know we have to if we really want to realize our vision, realize that dream, make a reality out of the things that we really desire, whether that's to do with your business, whether that's to do with finances, or bringing a project forward, or it's to do with your relationship, or it's to do with your physical body. I am on a real beautiful journey with my own body, and it's all about making change, completely changing, letting go of any of this excess aspects of my physicality that are not needed to liberate my body and really feel like we are all vital and all alive and feeling like our truest expression. So, yeah. So it's calling us to make new choices. It's calling us to make choices learning from previous choices. So like making wiser decisions as well. And another one is it's really calling us to rise above fear of all kinds, right? And so it's all of this, especially the aspects of fear, that is blocking our true embodied soul expression. And that's what Elevate is all about. If you guys are with us in that community, you know what I'm talking about, right? It's about transcending and elevating above the perceived limitations to discover the fullness of who you are and the limitless potential that you are. And so it's a really exciting time if you think about it, because these fears tap into every aspect of life, whether it's fears to do with survival, surviving the human experience, of fears of making it on your own. Who's ever thought like, oh my God, I don't know if I can make it on my own? I dealt with that earlier in my career. Holy, yeah, it was very disempowering, but it was very real. And it was just a thing, a program that I came in with that I was here to transmute and overcome. And so if you're dealing with stuff like this, any of these things, I'm going to list a bunch out and tell me if you can relate to any of them. So fears of making it on your own. And these are the ones that I was receiving as I was going into today's broadcast. Fears of being dependent on others because you can't make it on your own. Fears of being alone, not being accepted, right? These are big ones. Or then there's body fears. So fears of getting old, fears of getting sick, fears of aging, of disease, fears that your body is fighting against you. I work with a lot of people in the body arena with my partner. And yeah, it's a common idea that I can't trust my body is against me, right? And then existential fears, like fears like of never escaping your insecurities or your worries, of becoming insignificant, of not reaching your fullest potential, right? Fears of not being seen, fears of being misunderstood, etc., etc., etc. What can you guys relate to this? Yeah, any of this? Lisa says, yes, people around me going older. It's different how family is in my family. As everything you listed, I've been working through as well. I'm 45. Laughs welcome to midlife. Yeah. Yeah. Beautiful. Beautiful. I love it. And she says winks. I love it. And that's really what we need to make sure we do, is be light about it, be playful about it, right? We got to remember this is a game. I was talking to one of my clients this morning about this. It's like, it's a game. We got to remember that. And it's hard to remember that because we're in physicality and these bodies are designed to have sensorial experiences, to have experiences with our senses, right? But this period that we're in right now, this energy that we're swimming in, it is heightened today. If you think about it, June, if you know anything about the Gemini, it's like the two faces, right? Almost like the Jekyll and the Hyde. There's two sides. And that's really what we're playing with. It's like the two aspects of self. We are leaving one behind and stepping into another. And in doing so, it is intentional that we have our buttons pushed and that we will inevitably be pushing the buttons of others. Right? So just know that that's part and parcel, and it's not bad and it's not wrong. It's actually really supportive when you can be triggered and activated and something inside you, a fear or worry, comes up. Perfect. Pay attention to what that was, write it down, and then do what you need to do to process it, right? Revealing these things also, it helps us get to deeper levels of programming that need to be resurrected at this time. And so that's why this time is so important, and why if you are being activated or triggered, it's a good thing, because it's getting to a new, deeper level of something that is not authentically you, that is keeping you from rising and reaching this level of potential. So say thank you. Okay. And yeah, the ultimate goal of this is really of greater purification and refinement of our consciousness. So if you're going through this and the energy is feeling agitating, activating, get excited, because it's also actually a really helpful thing, because it is a very focused energy. So if you are like myself, so I'm very much working towards bringing a vision to life, specifically around the Elev8te community. Like I would say it's all consuming, but that, yeah, it in a sense it is, but I love it because it's exactly what I want to be doing. Part of me, my mind, wants to see it happen faster. But the larger aspect of me, my God essence, my soul is like, no, no, we're going, just keep going, just keep going. And so this energy is, it's opening up a door to huge transformation. So if something has activated you, it's triggered you, just know that it is on the heels of breakthroughs, transformation, and this is particularly true if you choose to work with it and you don't resist it. If you resist it, it's going to get really uncomfortable. If you let your mind run away with these things that it is illuminating for you, it's going to feel terrible, right? And we don't have to bother going there. So just know, right? What you're experiencing is probably not probably, it is the best thing that you can be experiencing right now. So where are you guys showing? Where are you guys seeing this? Where is this showing up for you? Do we have time? Oh, we're 2 minutes past. But I will say thank you, sisters, for being here. And yeah, Tammy says you have physical symptoms. Okay. Thank you. Is that normal? Yes. Okay. So because I kind of delayed us, I'm going to extend this because we we spent a few minutes in the beginning just talking about how I didn't know what I was doing on StreamYard. So let me see. I couldn't tell if it was flares again. So it depends. What are you experiencing? Or proton storm? Yeah. So you're right, Tammy. So Tammy's talking about a lot of the solar activity that happens and how that affects the physical body. So it really does. It definitely does. All of this does, right? We're primarily energetic beings. If you look at even like Eastern medicine, it is all around this idea of energy and that we are energetic bodies and with meridians and everything. So it is not a surprise that when energy intensifies outside the body, that it's going to intensify the energies inside the body. And so let me see. I want to see what. So physical symptoms are definitely part and parcel, whether it's headaches, whether it is aches and pains. It could also be even resurrecting of old injuries that are showing up again. Most of the time, so if you remember, part of what this is when there's higher influxes of energy, of light. Light infused energy is a higher frequency. When that passes through the physical body, which carries its own energy, if there's a discordance between the two energies, and let's say the energy is higher, that is meeting a physical substance that is of a lower frequency, it's a bit confronting. And so that we will feel it physically. It can be jarring at a cellular level, not necessarily in a bad way, but it can disrupt things at a cellular level that evokes symptoms, whether they're old symptoms or seemingly new symptoms. But usually, if it is a symptom that is evoked energetically, like what we're talking about, it will flare up and then it will settle down. That's your indication that it's from something like this, as opposed to a condition that is rearing its head, that is going to need support through a therapist or a medical doctor. There's differences and you can kind of tell the difference, but it is really common to feel this stuff in the body. And so that's why Tammy says, ugh, always good to know. Let me see. Always good to know. I know I'm not alone. Yeah, 100%. 100%. And it's super, super common. And that's why, especially now, movement is so important. And all through 2024, movement in the body has been a really significant and like critical piece of the puzzle of moving through these times, is because energy does get lodged in the body, and old traumas, they store their frequency. They're often held in tissues. Your issues are in your tissues, if you've ever heard that. And so it's really helpful to be able to move the body, and things like body work, So rolling, massage, and we can get into this another time, but those are super helpful because they do give our physicality. It's like we literally pressing them out of our system. And so it's a really powerful practice for detoxifying energetically, emotionally, as well as physically. Does that all make sense? Yeah, it's lodged in my backside. Oh my God, I hear you. Well, sisters, this was really fun. Thank you for being part of my first StreamYard live stream, which I'm looking at it and I still don't know what I'm doing, but I think we did okay. Yeah, I think this is live on YouTube, right? Is it? I don't even know. We'll find out. I'm hoping that it recorded somewhere. I'm assuming it did. Yeah. Exactly. We're learning together. That's what this community is about. I've been honest since the beginning. We are experimenting, we are playing, and it is creating as we go. Oh, there's my puppy Theo. All right, guys. I'm sending you so much love. Thank you for being here. I hope this helped to bring some clarity and understanding to what you may be experiencing right now. I'd love to know in the comments below this video. Please let me know what you're experiencing. Let me know if this was helpful. Let me know if it wasn't. I'd love your feedback. And in the community, we are going to talk a little bit more about this and have some other fun too. So again, elevateme.com, elevate with an 8 for the A. And that's where we are now living. The community is officially anchored in its new home. And we'd love to have you with us. And if the doors are closed when you get there, know that you can be put on a wait list and it will be first come, first entry when we open the doors to the public. We are creating something very magical and very special and very unique in there. And we'd love to have you with us if it resonates with you too. All right, sending you so much love. Bye, sisters. Thank you for being with me. Bye now.